Our 11 Investigates team told you about Toledoan Eric Misch being cleared of a 1992 murder last month. He is the first convicted murderer to be exonerated in Lucas County. Lead investigator Brian Duggar recently sat down with him so he could tell his story for the first time, and we'll have that story for you at 6. First, Brian joins us right now with a preview. So for those who are watching that might not know about the case, who Eric Misch is, give us a recap, Brian.
Yeah, so Vernon Huggins, a Toledoan, was killed in Wilson Park, which is in the shadow of like Woodward High School there in Toledo, and he was found badly beaten. They said it by a blunt object. He was probably kicked and like beaten, and somebody had mentioned of this Bishop's gang, which it was a gang of kids that didn't really like minorities. So somebody mentioned them that, hey, maybe they were involved, and Eric Misch's name got thrown out there because he was on the fringe of being in that group. And, they interviewed him and he confessed, actually.
We've seen this in kind of the true crime world, in the world where there are a lot of convictions that are illegitimate. Why did Eric confess to something that he didn't do?
I did ask him that because we do see it over and over, and it happens so often that you just can't describe it as unusual, because it's at the time when he was interviewed, he was a 16-year-old kid. He's being confronted by 2 veteran detectives with the Toledo Police Department. He basically told me that, look, he just got tired, he got scared, he just wanted to go home. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
He wanted to end it.
He thought
all
it was
those hours and hours of interrogation.
Right.
So this happened in 1992. Why is he just now being cleared?
Yeah, because he filled out an application for the Wrongful Conviction Project back in like 2011, and they began looking at his case. They put repeated record requests to Toledo prosecutors and to the police department, trying to get records so they could learn about the case. And in 2018, they started getting some of these records, and what some of these records showed—
7 years later.
Yes, it took them at least 10 different record requests. And when they started to get these records back, it showed that there were several other viable suspects, including one guy who had apparently robbed his girlfriend's house, and her family members actually confronted him, according to this guy's uncle. And, they were carrying a wooden leg, it looked like from a table, and this was very consistent with what the coroner testified at trial that Vernon was beaten with.
Have you been able to find out from the detectives who conducted this initial investigation why, those leads were not followed at the time?
Yeah, and that's actually why this case is being thrown out, because the lead detective back in the day in 1992, when this was being investigated, he's dead. And the other 2 detectives that helped on the case, they don't remember it. So it was a very surreal moment back in 2023 when they had a hearing for Eric Misch, and they put a couple of old detectives up on the stand, and they're like, I don't remember, I don't remember, I don't remember. So the prosecution, they
really had no choice.
Yeah, and they would like to probably retry Eric, but they can't, because none of the detectives remember, and none of the witnesses back then are cooperating.
It's a very interesting case. Also questions about whether he can be compensated for all of this time he spent in prison. There were 4 other men convicted with him. And we're going to talk about how Eric is doing mentally now. Of course, you can tune in tonight at 6 for Brian's story. That's just a little teaser, what we just gave you, so be sure to tune in at 6. Brian, great job. Thanks.